Boom, we're live.
What up?
What up, dog?
Turn this damn heater off.
Are you in your garage?
Yeah, man. Oh, hold on. Just for you.
Oh yeah, we gotta wear our hats to the side, huh?
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what?
yeah.
You know what's funny is I was wearing a snapback. I was wearing a snapback earlier. It was my Coors Light Racing Team one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right. Oh, we got Bro Texon in here, all the way from the Philippines. That animal.
Oh shit. He heard we were talking about him.
I know, man. What's up, noobs? You gotta taste that Northwest snow. Yeah, dude, it's been snowing bad here, man.
Has it?
We got like 6 inches last
I
night.
saw your shit the other day. You had a picture up and it had some snow, but I didn't know if you were out of town or if you were at home.
No, yeah, it snowed last night really bad. We went to Midland this morning, which is the town next door, and they got
Yeah.
it way worse than we did, but it was terrible. So you do everything out of your garage, huh?
Pretty much.
So you know this, but nobody else knows this, but now I can talk about it.
Yeah. I
I'm
was
moving to Houston.
yeah. Is this the thing that we talked about? Are you
What?
about to
No, not fully
Okay.
releasing everything yet. No,
Okay. Okay.
we're not gonna let everything go yet. But I'm
All
moving to
right.
Houston. My wife got an opportunity. So we're gonna move back to Houston. But in our new house, I won't have. It's a way bigger house, but it doesn't have like a study like this. You know what I mean? It's all bedrooms and stuff.
Yeah.
And she's got to have an office. I have to have an office. So now I'm getting kicked into the garage. So
Dang.
instead of having this nice big beautiful room that I can have all my shit in, I got the garage now. So I'm gonna be hitting you up for some tips and tricks.
Dude, it's I'm not gonna lie. I like working in the garage. It's like my own little world out here. I know where all my tools are. I know where all my shit is. Um, the thing for you, it's gonna be like here in Vegas. It gets super damn hot in the summer. So invest in a good standalone air conditioner unit and
Yeah.
vent it out a window. But other than that, man, like I've got I've got two little AC units. One that I use to like help the camper during the summer because it gets hot. But then I have one for the garage, and it's like 650 square foot standalone thing. Like it's huge.
Yeah.
So like middle of summer here, it's 120 degrees. I'll walk in my garage, it'll be 75, and it's perfect.
Yeah, we talked about that. Like there's an option we could probably just do that included in the house, but
Yeah,
I don't know if we're gonna do it. We may just do it ourselves. But either way, I digress. I'm just gonna be stuck in the garage now. So
you'll
we
like it,
were
man.
yeah. I looked at one of the rooms, I was like, oh, this room is perfect for my reloading room, and she goes, no.
Come here, mom.
Oh, baby and the mama.
Mama's still in pajamas. She ain't got her face on. She just woke up from a nap with the baby.
Oh yeah. Yeah. A little New Year's rough. Who else we got up in here? We got Proctor, we got Ontos, which is John Morrison. I have to start shooting USPSA to just chill with these guys. Come on with it, bro.
Hell yeah. Dude, our squads have more fun than the rest of the match. Like, we have more fun on our squads BSing than anything.
We have so much fun that Matt Hopkins comes over and yells at us for being loud. Do you remember that? Area 3?
Yeah. He was like, y'all shut up over there.
And he's like, shut up over there.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. So this live will get a little more in depth into like you. You know what I mean? It's kind of
All
what I
right.
want to do. So you had talked about kind of tell us a little bit about how you got started in competing. I know not
Okay.
just USPSA, but just competing with guns or competing period.
All right. So I think if I remember correctly, we left off and we were talking about I've actually been competing quite a bit longer than most people realize. Um, So I grew up backwoods Tennessee. Like duck hunting was for real a way of life. Like that's how we made our money during the wintertime, was running guide services and stuff. Um, so shooting a shotgun was very important. And then junior high and stuff like that, like late elementary school, we start doing like the Annie Oakley shoots and stuff like that, and like playing knockout and all that stuff for birthday parties. Like that was the thing to do. If you were like 9 to 12 years old, you had a skeet shoot at your birthday party. Like I'm not joking.
Hell
And
yeah.
everybody played knockout. So like all the dudes are, everybody stands in a line, and like if you break it, the guy behind you in line has a chance to shoot your chip. And if he hits your chip, then you're out. So you have to like dust it to stay safe. Like we had fun with it, you know?
That's some redneck
Um,
shit.
yeah, yeah, it really is. But a buddy of mine, I actually worked for his dad on the farm. They traveled and shot trap competitively on a traveling team. And I was
Hmm.
like, dude, what is this shit? You know, like that sounds fun. So they took me a couple times and I got hooked. So when I was about 13, I started doing it. 14, I was actually competing. But I started traveling on a little travel trap team, and we had a coach that came to his house. He had a like no BS trap house in his backyard, like over one of their bean fields, and like
Beanfield.
five. Yeah, no, I'm
This
serious.
gets more and more country.
So I did. I grew up working on the lake, and during the summer I worked at a boat ramp, and then during the winter we did guide hunting and stuff for duck hunting. And then when I wasn't working at the boat ramp, I worked at his farm and cornfields and bean fields, and we did a little bit of cotton, but mostly
So,
corn and beans. But anyways,
so what you're saying is you're a redneck just like me.
yeah, pretty much.
I
Yeah.
like it.
um
Us backwoods brush
but yeah,
heads got
so
to
I
stick
started
together.
I started shooting trap, man, and like we had a coach that came and helped us out and like taught us all kinds of stuff about like positionally where to hold over the trap house, because in trap it's 5 positions around a center trap house, but the trap thrower oscillates up and down and left to right, so it like does one of these things, so you can see it a million times and it never throws the same clay, or it'll be close but never the exact in theory. But you have 5 different posts around it, and then handicap, you move back based on how good you hit in singles, and then doubles. So I shot all of it: singles, doubles, handicap, everything. When I was 16, I was shooting from the 20-yard line, so I was 1 yard away from being maxed out on handicap. And then like an average performance for me shooting singles was 95 to 98 birds out of 100, and then doubles I was shooting like 86 to 90. So I was pretty good with a shotgun.
Okay. So you've been competitive shooting for a minute, just not USPSA.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. How much of that translated over?
You know, Not really much of it. The mental game translated over some, especially like when you went to a trap meet or something like that, and you get down to like the finals for the day or something like that, and everybody's running really good, and like you're at that point where you're like 90 birds straight, nobody's missed a shot. Like there's a lot of pressure on you, especially at that age, to
Yeah.
not f it up. Um, so that kind of translated over, but as far as the actual shooting side of it, it really didn't translate over. Like holding a long gun and leading a bird, 20 to 50 yards out, depending on how fast you shoot, really doesn't translate over to shooting a pistol at predominantly stationary targets.
Yeah.
We might have a swinger or something like that, but even that we time to where we try to catch it on the first presentation where it's all the way down, so it sits there for just a second or something like that. Like we're not chasing targets for the most part. So
Yeah. Cool, man. So do you still do any of that, or is that kind of just you just got over it? You got bored of it?
so I actually got out of it. I had a really bad four-wheeler wreck and shattered my right collarbone. Um, like I went face first, like fifth gear, pinned out, running across the field, and hit a huge drainage ditch and went airborne and went face first into the dirt at like 60 mile an hour. And this was the first thing to hit, so it snapped. I woke up, my collarbone was poking me in my chin.
Ooh, delicious.
It was, dude, you want to talk about pain? That was
Mm.
terrible. And then what really sucked, like I took my belt off and we're like slinging my arm up, and I'm riding like left-handed on my four-wheeler back to the house because we're like miles away from anything and
Yep.
nobody's around us. That sucked. Like every bump riding on that four-wheeler was excruciating.
Miserable.
Yeah, it was bad.
Miserable.
So after that, I quit competing. That's really when I was at the top of my game for trap. Every once in a while, I go home and we still shoot some trap or shoot some skeet and stuff like that. And I kind of beat up on my dad and my mom and my brother and stuff like that. But outside of that, I really don't shoot shotguns much anymore. Did some bird hunting here and there, duck hunting and stuff like that, or dove hunting. But I really don't shoot long guns that much anymore. Around 2000. So that would have been around 2006 2008 is when I stopped shooting trap. And then around 2012, 2013, I really got back into shooting again, and I was shooting a lot more handguns.
Right when I graduated high school.
That's when you graduated high school? Jesus, dude, I was already, see here, at 2012, I was living in DC. 2013, I moved to Florida. But the big motivating factor there, so my dad retired as a highway patrol officer in Tennessee, right? So his whole life, he shot like iron sight, like open sight pistols and rifles. And he is really good with them. Like, I don't know, like him, and then my cousin, he's basically my brother. He was in the Army. He did a lot of iron sight shit. So like my whole family is really good with iron sights. So I told myself when I got back into shooting, like, hey, this is a motivator for me. I want to go home and, drag these dudes through the dirt. But I need to put in some work, and I knew that. And the thing I struggled with the most was handguns. And the other thing that I struggled with the most was iron sights. If you put glass on something, rifles, whatever, I could probably shoot it pretty decent. And I know I could outshoot my family with it. So I spent a few years shooting iron sights, got into USPSA around 2016. Shot a couple, well, actually I got into Steel Challenge around 2016. Shot that for about a year in limited. And then found out about USPSA and tried that out, was terrified. Like never ran with a gun before, so I looked like the awkward chicken running around, like running on a stage, trying to like make sure I was being safe, but it was really awkward. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It was bad.
You see those people who are really, really comfortable with running with a handgun, and then you see the people who just are not. It's a blatant, when you see it, you see it. I mean, you can tell who is just who just it's another day. It's running, you know what I mean? And then those people who are like, oh shit, I'm running with a handgun, I got to be extra careful.
And that was me for a while. It took a while to get used to it. But after I got used to it a little bit, dabbled in limited for about a year, and then like really saw a couple steel frame guns and stuff like that, guys shooting open, and I was like, that's freaking hot. Like
that's where I want to go.
Yeah, so I got a gun built by Carver. It was a Glock 17. Ran that in open for a year and a half, almost 2 years.
You ran the Carver Glock.
Yeah. Hey, everybody starts somewhere, you know?
Oh. Hey, man, there's some people that swear by those things.
I will say that I love Bobby Carver. I've met him. I've dealt with him quite a bit. I've been in his shop and hung out with him quite a bit. Bobby's a great dude, and he will absolutely take care of his shooters, like hands down, like legitimate family-owned business, like down-to-earth people. And Bobby's been around this sport since the damn 60s, like when bowling pin matches were first starting. You know what I mean? So the dude's seen some shit. And as far as Glocks go, I truly believe that he builds some of the best Glocks out there. But I will say that there came a certain point where I knew that the platform was holding me back.
Yeah.
I knew that I was getting to the point where having issues with running major power factor consistently, and then having issues where I was having to fix the gun like 2 or 3 times in a match.
Yeah.
Just it wasn't working. So that's when I switched to steel frame, like 2011 style guns. But I mean, for a minor power factor gun, like if you're just going to shoot Steel Challenge or something like that, or just for something to go play at the range, like Glocks are awesome.
Yeah.
They're not as competitive for USPSA and open.
What's the distance on an AR pistol? There's a lot of variation factors there. How long the barrel length is, what caliber, 300 blackout, 5.56. Assuming it's a 10-inch 5.56, what do you think, like 300 yards?
Yeah, you could easily do that. And I mean, that's a rabbit hole. You get into gas systems and everything else, and how much gas they take away. Like
you can stretch it out or shorten it up, but any insight info on when Atlas is going to start making single stack competition guns? They've done it for years. Yeah. They actually just got away from the single stacks recently, but I'm sure, and Morgan may shoot me in the face for saying this, but if you call up there and ask nicely, maybe they know someone who has one, or they can throw one together. I'm not 100% certain on that.
So I just talked to him about that. I had some guys wanting one. they are out currently. They
Okay.
do not have any sitting on the shelf left over, and they are not making them currently. However, they are not abandoning the 1911 forever. They will bring it back.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time for when it's right.
Yeah, it's just not the time right now.
Yeah.
All the best for 2021, bro. Thanks, Ron Brown. If y'all don't know who Ron Brown is, he's one of the nicest dudes I've ever shot with. He's the.
Dude, I can only see like one comment.
He's the Jamaican assassin.
What is? Oh, now I'm seeing him. AR pistol.
Yeah, you got to scroll up, dude. If anybody has any questions throughout this, just throw them in there. There's actually a little question box thing that'll shoot them to me. But ask your questions away. We got Eric Gowan here. So, so you got into the steel frame guns, right?
Yep.
You got down the rabbit hole. What was your first steel frame gun?
My first steel frame gun was STI DVC Open in 9 major.
Mine was an STI DVC, not the limited, the one right for the Edge. I had an Edge.
Yeah. The Edge, they were some pretty good pistols.
Yeah, it was good. It had a tendency to hammer follow, no matter how many times I fixed it. But
if you watch my last video, you'll know how to fix that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I would fix it with STI parts, and then it would happen again.
Yeah.
So then I got a trigger kit fitted to it, and it fixed it. So
yeah, that's what happens when you use soft metals to build parts that consistently wear against each other.
Yeah, that aren't supposed to be soft.
Yeah.
But I shot that DVC Edge for a hot minute. How long did you shoot that DVC Open? Did you put a little bit of time into it?
I shot it for about 8 months.
8 months. About as long as I shot that Edge. Okay, that's about right.
Yeah.
I need a pair of Atlas single stack guns in 9mm. Contact Bullets and Beards. I'm sure he might sell you one. He's got a couple.
He has a couple, but his are in 40, I think.
No, I think he's got some 9s, right? Maybe not.
I think he, you know what? I think he has an STI that was in 9, but I don't know if he still has that or not. And then his Atlas guns, I want to say they were 40.
Well, Uspsa in Dijon, I'm butchering that, but just get single stack or just get double stack guns, bro. Nobody fucking cares about single stack anyway.
Double stack's fun.
Don't be a boomer.
Double stack go fast.
Double stack go fast. I just want to go fast.
Double stack goes so fast it make not fast look even more not fast.
All right. So what was after the DVC Open? Did you go straight to the Atlas or did you play with anything else?
No, I went straight to Atlas. So I talked to my wife about it. I talked to Mike about it, and it was like, if I'm gonna make a change and I'm gonna do something to fix the issues that I'm having, I'm going to buy once and cry once. Like, I've already bought at that point 2 open guns, and I'm like, I'm done with this crap. I'm going to have a nice gun that I know is going to work and I'm not gonna have issues with. And
ouchie, bro.
The other thing behind that was I wanted to choose a company that not only builds things the right way and truly stands behind their product, but I wanted a company that I knew that they were going to stand behind their product. And if I had an issue, I could call them, get them on the phone. They say, hey, do this or send us the gun or whatever. And that was the big deciding factor for me.
Yeah, that was a deciding factor for me because I was real hesitant, you know, because I was shooting for another gun company. I was shooting for Bad Dog Customs, and but I liked the Atlases. My coach at the time, Blake Lyles, was a diehard Atlas guy. Now he's gone over to the dark side of Infinity, but he'll be back. They always come back. Yeah. So, but he was shooting the Atlases, and I tell you what sold me, dude, is like every time I called up there, I wasn't buying shit. I was just asking questions, and Adam would keep me on the phone for as long as I wanted to, answering whatever question.
Yep.
And then I was eventually like, you know what? Fuck it. You know, might as well.
Yeah,
might as well just go with it. Yeah.
That was the thing that really impressed me was not only do they actually answer the fucking phone and you don't just get a voice recording that says leave a message, we'll get back to you if we feel like it. They sit on the phone.
Yeah. Mel, I see you and Ron in here. Infinity.
They sit on the phone with you for however long it takes for you to understand what they're telling you or to answer however many questions you have.
Yeah. They don't charge you by the minute while you're on the phone with them either.
Yeah.
Add it to the cost of your gun.
Yeah. And then the year wait.
the 2 year wait. Oh, no, it's a year now. It was 2 years. I love picking on Mel and all the Infinity guys. They
Yeah.
all know. I hope everyone knows I'm joking. I like Infinity. They're good people too. Happy New Year. Best wishes for you and your family. Ron Brown, Mr. Nino Compedra. We got many things in here. Many things gave me the idea for Bangin Lube.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude,
That was, what, a week ago we did that? Or 2 weeks
yeah, it
ago?
was like a week ago, a week and a
Yeah.
half. So stay tuned. I may do something with that. You never
There
know.
you go.
Bangin Lube.
I would support that.
It may get confusing when you Google it.
Yeah. I mean, I would put it on my jersey just so people ask.
Yeah. What is Bangin Lube? Or Google Bangin Lube, and then they're gonna go down a rabbit hole. I'm practicing right now, not talking. Mel, you're on my live. You're not practicing. If you are, then you're not practicing correctly. You're not paying attention enough. So now, I'd buy some. Yeah, you would. Once you got over, did you notice a big difference when you go from like a Carver or an STI, because those are relatively the same thing,
Uh,
to
so
a custom gun like an Atlas or an Infinity?
So the big difference between the Carver and the STI was the trigger. That was like all bullshit aside, that was the biggest difference. I
Mm-hmm.
had a ton of problems with my STI not running right. I took it over here to Magnus and JJ worked on it for me. Like I sat in the shop with JJ one night for 6 damn hours, filing on stuff and trying to make stuff fit to get that gun to run. And I will say that after JJ helped me out quite a bit with that STI, it did run, and then it ran pretty consistently, but it definitely wasn't at the same level as a true like custom gun. And then the big difference from the STI to an Atlas was that the level of performance. Like the trick, it's they're both 2011s, like the 1911 style trigger. I will say the Atlas trigger 100% feels better. It is much crisper and cleaner of a trigger pull. The way that Adam and crew set up the angles and geometry on the sear and the sear hooks for the hammer and like get shit to fit the right way is 100% different between, an Atlas and an STI. But the other like huge factor was I never knew it because I was coming from a Glock, but STIs are extremely fatiguing to shoot. Like they are brutal. They are some of the harshest guns I've ever shot. And I never knew that until I shot a Chaos and was like, fuck, this thing is smooth, like it is just soft. And
Yeah.
at first I had a huge problem where everything I shot was Alpha Delta or Alpha Mike. And I was overdriving the gun hardcore and just like I was used. Give me 1 second. Wife's yelling.
Cool. While you're gone, I'm going to talk to the people. Jim Krantz never had this issue with glonks. So surprisingly, Jim Krantz, I have a really nice glonk. It's all zevved out and all that shit. Are you still in here, Jim, or did you leave? Wave if you are still here, or do something. But I have a pretty nice Glock, and one thing that I will say is when
Hey,
you
dude,
go.
sorry, I gotta run. Baby's sick.
Okay, 10-4.
Yeah, man.
All right, later, bro.
Bye.
So, Jim, jump on this live. Let's save this live. Jim, jump on here. We'll get some Glonk guys on here. Get in here, Jim. Don't be scared. But once I went from the Glock to back and forth between a Glock and a 2011, I noticed right away you have to put a whole lot more effort into shooting the Glock. Here we go. There he is. What up, dog?
What's up, dude? How you doing?
I like the gaming chair, homie. I'm in that realm too.
It definitely boosts my KD. I need all the help I can get.
Yeah, you and me both, dude. So this is unexpected. I know we had talked about doing a live, but I bet you didn't think it was going to be this way.
Hey, I'm always down for a surprise.
Yeah, there you go. Surprise. He's got baby issues. We make it work. So you're save the show, Jim. So you're a Glock guy, right?
I am. I
Have
have a
you
number of Glocks.
have you shot the 2011s much?
I've shot a couple different 2011s. I've shot an Atlas. I've shot a couple of the Staccatos, and then a couple of like older school ones, like the OG like SVIs that a couple of guys around me have. Super cool, but I've never put like a ton of rounds through one, so I don't have enough of an opinion, to really be considered an expert in the matter.
But you love the Glocks, huh?
So the thing for me is I started shooting with a Glock because I carried a Glock and I just had a bunch of them around, and it was like, okay, I have some of this stuff already. I'm just going to go ahead and try out the USPSA thing with the equipment I already had. And then, I just kind of shot Glocks all last year because I had some companies that were making stuff for me for the Glock platform, and all my holsters fit. So I was like, okay, we'll just stick with this. No need to change it up yet. So, and I've had good experiences with them so far. I mean, they
don't die. I will say that.
They're kind of pretty basic. I mean, they don't do anything extremely phenomenally except for just never die. I mean, they're
They're like a Honda Civic. You know what I mean?
They're pretty much a Honda Civic, or I drive a Toyota Tacoma. I like to think of them as
they're like a Tacoma.
Yeah, you're gonna go 400,000 miles,
Yep.
And then the thing is finally just gonna rust and fall apart because it's been 30 years or something. But that's, you get that out of them, and they're phenomenal. I'm excited to see though. So there's a lot of companies that have obviously been making Glock parts for a while. Zeptech agencies, stuff like that. And I haven't really seen anyone go above and beyond where it comes to like performance stuff with them. It's more like, this is for duty, this is for carry, this is, all that stuff, because that's what the platform is for. But DC Precision's doing some stuff this year, and I'm going to try a couple of his guns this year in competition. I'm very excited to see kind of what you can do with that platform if you get someone to sit down with performance in mind and just kind of take some of the other traditional legacy mentality out of the equation and look at it from a new perspective. So I'm very excited to see what happens there.
I'm excited to see that too, man, because he's been posting a couple teasers with he's going to do some cool shit. I've talked to a few people who kind of know the direction it's going, and I like Glocks. I have Glocks. I carry a Glock. I mean, and I've shot some really nice ones. Like I shot Austin Aries' Glock Store. I think it's his 34, his carry optics gun. It's a badass gun, dude. And I mean, the trigger's pretty decent.
Yeah.
Like if I had to put it into perspective, like, it's all, I mean, it's not as good as a 2011, but it's marginal,
Yeah.
His trigger was better than I would say like the X5s or, those, I don't think it was quite as crisp as like a really, really good 2011 trigger, but
yeah,
I don't think that makes a huge difference.
There's a point where you can't get, if you just look at the mechanics of the way different triggers operate, there's a point where you simply cannot get that, like Tate's gun, it's at like 1.5 pound pull or something like that. And that's a little spicy in my opinion, but,
that's about where mine are.
You just can't get that out of certain mechanisms yet, and that's why there's always a point where it doesn't work. Jeez,
not a whole lot of movement in there. It's just kind of a
dang. Yeah, it just runs itself. So my
pretty much
is like 3 pounds, 3.5 pounds. I have Tactical Trigger do all my triggers, and they do a polishing job, and they hand fit everything in there. They put a grail pin in, so it limits the amount of movement the trigger bar can actually have. So that's about the best you could get them, except for DC's triggers. I've seen DC do some really cool stuff with triggers. So
yeah, I've played with some really good Glock triggers. My Glock triggers are just basic Zev drop-ins. They're nothing special, and they're okay. I haven't played with them a whole lot, but I've felt some triggers on some guns. Like, this isn't a Glock, but Max Michel's X5.
Oh yeah,
dude, we were training together for a couple days, and I was playing with his gun. I was like, bro, this is an open gun trigger. Yeah, this is an open gun.
His whole setup there. I mean, it's just everyone's like, oh, it's just a stock X5. You just get an X5. I'm like,
Nope.
That's not exactly how it works.
Shoot that gun and tell me it's a regular X5. It is not at all. At all.
if they can figure out how to do, major power factor and a comp on that gun, he could go take the open stage again. I mean, he could go play that game with that gun. I mean, it's crazy.
Dude, he was overall in area matches with that gun. What did he overall like? He overall like 2 area matches with it.
Yeah, he's just an animal.
And he wasn't shooting against PUDs either. Like, he was beating some legit people.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, him and Shane Coley battled pretty much all year. I mean, Shane jumps between divisions, obviously, but, and all the matches that I saw, obviously Max just shoots carry optics, and he's consistently, 3 to 5% above everybody. It's like, dude, minor power factor with an X5, that's pretty freaking cool.
People have given me so much shit when I say this, just because everybody's hopping on the train of, the new open guys are the best in the business. But I'm a firm believer that if Max Michel put 6 months behind an open gun again and got back into it, he's winning nationals for the next 3 or 4 years.
So I'm curious to see what happens this year with Christian, because Christian's going to shoot a couple different divisions. And I'm very curious to see where someone like him, who doesn't necessarily have the amount of years and experience that Max does, but obviously has all of the talent. I'm curious to see where he lands in places like, carry optics production, anything like that. It's going to be interesting to see like his placement and kind of how he evolves, because they're very different styles of shooting.
Super different.
I know like some of them are similar enough to compare, like, JJ and Max were comparing, carry optics to limited, and they kind of wash out on certain stages, but with national level matches where the stages just vary and there's just super high disaster factor, I'm very curious to see kind of what next year, or what this year, now it's 2021, what this year looks like for some of these matches.
Yeah, I was talking to Christian actually yesterday about this, and dude, he's gonna have some battles. He's gonna play in the limited game. He's gonna play in the carry optics game. But here's the thing, man. What if he does go to those divisions and dominates it like he's doing the open guns?
Yeah, it's gonna hurt some folks for sure.
Yeah, like
improvise.
I straight up told him, I was like, dude, you have everything to gain and nothing to lose. If you go shoot carry optics and you get beat by Max Michel, nobody's going to give a shit. You know what I mean? Some people will be like, oh, well, that means Max could take him in open, blah, blah, blah. But if you go and you beat Max Michel,
it would be pretty unprecedented, because obviously no one's ever beat Max Michel as far as carry optics goes. I mean,
he's undefeated.
The division, it has a lot of potential, obviously, but as we've seen, like if you look at nationals from like 2019 and then look at nationals from 2020 and look at the pack, like the pack of like top dogs was a little bit more like spread out in 2019, and then in 2020 you look at those top 50 or more, even just like the top 20, and look at the stack. I mean, there's like 10, 15 people that were within like less than 100 points of each other. And we didn't see that in previous years with that division. So I think we're starting to get to the point of where, it might be kind of where it's going to, kind of level out at, kind of plateau. And we're just going to see like what ballers can come out of the works and push these big guys that have been holding it for so long.
I think there's an immense amount of talent coming up through the weeds that nobody really knows about, that in the next 3 to 4 years, guys like, and I don't want to say this to sound like an asshole, but guys like Chris Tilley, Lesgar Murdoch, who else, like guys like that are just been OGs, Bill Drummond, that have just been around forever and just killing it. You're going to see them either start to fight for their life or drop off a little bit.
Yeah.
Because there's some heat coming up, dude. Straight up.
It's going to be a cool year, man. It's going to be really exciting. I'm, last year was my first year taking USPSA seriously, 2020 season. And I shot a whole bunch of different section matches. I shot Area 3 and I shot Nationals. And for 2021, I'm really interested to see, fingers crossed, if ammo gets squared away here. That's going to be a big deciding factor. But I'm very curious to see just kind of how the game evolves, and especially where I kind of fit in the divisions that I end up in, because it's getting really cool here, man. I'm excited to see the evolution of what happens with USPSA divisions. I just want them to get rid of a few things. I want to see a few things change, obviously.
What are they? What are they? Come on, let it loose. Let it loose, man. Let's go.
Oh man, I don't know. I hate to talk shit on certain divisions, but there are certain divisions that we just don't necessarily need anymore.
Go for it. Go for it.
Well, first of all, I really hate the way they laid out nationals. They put carry optics and PCC together, and then they put low cap includes single stack revolver, limb 10 and production, right? And then you have race gun nats. So like race gun nats makes sense, okay, limited and open. But for me, that doesn't make as much sense as putting open and PCC together and then having limited and carry optics together, or like what they did in 2020 where you have production carry optics together. At least line it up so that you can have somewhat of a similar division split. Otherwise, like if you put carry optics and PCC together, PCC, if you look at just the PCC nats, some of those targets are ridiculously far away. Some of the stages are laid out more like a multi-gun stage.
Yep.
And now you're expecting to try to build something that is challenging for both divisions, but doesn't just wash one out. I think it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
I agree.
And then also where you put, low cap nats, you're putting that at the beginning and forcing all the guys that were wanting to play and hang out with the other guys that are shooting production style guns in the carry optics division. Now you're forcing them to go hang out with boomers and single stack. Sorry, Mike. And it's stupid. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. Or no, he's shooting limited now. I think Mike, you're shooting limited this coming year, right?
Yeah, Mike's shooting limited now. We finally got him out of one, we had to take his AARP card away. And then we were like, listen, old man, give us your walker. We're throwing that in the garage. Here's a full mag. Go get after it. So, but yeah, I agree with that, dude. Like, do you remember when they did 9 days of nationals in 2018?
No, I wasn't in the game yet.
So that to me was a genius way to do nationals. They did, I think it was production. It was, what was it? It was production and limited 10 together. And then it was carry optics and limited. And then I believe PCC and open.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. Why not do that?
And then just throw revolver in the trash.
Or I think revolver was at the same time as limited 10. I just forgot about it because everyone forgets about it because it's irrelevant.
Yeah, it's dumb division. It has zero relevance anymore. Like, look at how many guys actually shoot this, and look at the level of competition out there. Also, like, because it's such a low cap division, you can sort of stage plan like you would with single stack, but it's not even comparable even then. I mean, it should be its own sport, but no one really wants to do it anyway, so it would just die off.
It technically is. You have like the IRS or whatever. Jerry Michalak's been the International Revolver Federation, whatever, fucking champion for like 89 fucking years.
And he's probably going to be it for another 100 because no one's ever going to top those. That was pretty incredible for anyone to be able to do that. And I don't think I'm sure if one of these guys who's super, super fast and good got behind a revolver for long enough, they could get there. But
for 20 years, 20 fucking years straight.
It wasn't even that he was really like competing and performing on stages. He was just performing magic tricks. Everything he does is just like sleight of hand magic tricks. And you're like, dude, this ain't even shooting. This is just a magic show. Like this, it doesn't make sense.
I watched that guy reload a fucking revolver in person one time and called bullshit. I was like, no fucking way. No way he actually just reloaded that fast with a revolver. Doesn't make sense.
Well, he's doing it faster than guys with gigantic mag wells, right? I mean, it makes no sense. It's just why.
It doesn't. So what are so besides obviously how they're positioning what are some of the rules in the divisions that you hate? Because I have a few. I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours.
I have a feeling that carry optics is going to evolve in the coming years, and I don't necessarily. I'm not hard set on this mentality here, but if they evolve carry optics to the point of where we put like, let's say mag wells, or they start to allow like 2011 platforms and things like that, someone's probably going to try to interject with some sort of a round count change, because the stick sizes for 2011 guns, the stick sizes for standard production guns right now are a little bit different. You can have quite a few more rounds. And I know I've heard talk about them moving between something like 17 or 15 rounds, but that gets impossible to talk about when it comes to, you know, the ROs and scoring and stuff. And I know that the rules kind of don't really cross over well with IPSC, which sucks for guys that are trying to shoot IPSC nats and try to go for worlds and go back and forth. So what I want to see is just kind of look at all the divisions and look at every single little rule and just get rid of some of the dumb ones that are allowing for negotiations for new rules to come in. Because I just see constant debate about, oh, maybe we could add this little thing, we could add this little thing. 2 years from now, you could change the shape of an entire division and make it no longer cool. Carry optics is pretty cool right now. And not to say that, you know, I think, you know, the 2011 coming in or out of that division would really make a huge difference for some of these guys as far as performance, because, I mean, the guys that are good are just good regardless. But I don't like the fact that there's constant, you know, nagging with the new divisions to push new rules in there. And then when it comes to like the ROs, I saw a huge problem at Nats. This is like my biggest personal pet peeve. You can't find good help.
Yep.
And the ROs at Nats, some of them were just straight up deaf, like they couldn't hear. Like there was some old folks out there that for health reasons probably shouldn't have been out there. And there was calls that I saw where we were like designating people to follow a few of these ROs who were much older. And we were like, dude, someone's got to, if you're in a national match, someone has to have a briefing with these guys and go, you can't change the ruling on where to stand on a stage. You can't, you know, have someone that's 90 years old calling hits on paper from 20 feet away when you can't even see, you know, something in front of his face. I wasn't impressed by the way they set up the staff there.
Yeah.
So that needs to get some serious work. And, you know, I don't know how they could. I don't know how they can find people, though. That's the problem.
That's the hard part. Unless you start paying them, nobody gives a shit. Nobody wants to go. Here's where you could get your money's worth, right? Is include, and I don't know if they do this now, but include the entry fee and like a hotel for all the people. Like as much money as we're paying, I've done the math on it, dude. There's plenty of money in that budget. Like to do something like that. And I know they say, oh, well, it's super expensive, blah, blah, blah. Dude, like as much money as they're making from that match, they should be able to do some shit like that and get some quality help. Because like look at IPSC matches, international IPSC matches. Dude, they're not paying any more than we are.
No.
They're not. And they're getting quality shit. Like they have resetters and all this stuff. And it's just.
Well, part of that is a cultural difference here. So we have a really weird phenomenon happening right now in the gun world, and especially because competitive shooting is such a small piece of the overall gun world that's very large in the United States. But you have the legacy folks that were obviously big into guns. They grew up with guns. They had guns for hunting, competition shooters, defensive, all that good stuff. That generation is dying. It's going away, and it's being replaced by another crowd. But the majority of that crowd is taking up the tactical world, right? So playmakers, rifles, helmets, all that good stuff, right? Which is awesome. But they don't have interest in the competition shooting. So the competition shooting scene, as far as new talent, is just kind of getting smaller. So you have this legacy group that is kind of ROing and watching the new guys come up, and you have a ton of new people getting injected into the gun world, but they're not getting injected in the right spot. So you need to provide incentive if you want to see a younger crowd that really wants to get after it come on board and really help not necessarily change the game, but prevent the game from dying, in my opinion.
Because it is in some way, I wouldn't say it's dying, but it's not improving. It's not taking huge leaps and bounds. Like I've said it. Here's my little 2 cents, my pet peeve, and I've talked about this to other people, but there's one, I don't know why you can't record this shit and put it behind a paywall. You know, like I know you've probably heard like John Bartolo talk about that shit, but there's a way to get this out there to the masses and make money off of it. There's a way to televise it, not necessarily on TV, but on streaming. Like you could stream that shit. There's a way to do it.
So I guess Brian from Hunters HD Gold is kind of leading the charge in that world because he's the only person I've ever seen at matches like go live on stages and follow Super Squad guys. But you know, the problem is there is a lot of talent out there as far as tech guys, as far as guys that know how to stream, how to do lives. I mean, look at some of the shooters out there and the outreach that they have, whether it be on social media, YouTube, all that good stuff. The talent is tied up in pulling the triggers. You don't have someone there with the camera. We have all the talent we need. They just don't have time to be able to train and be able to compete and also provide help with getting the filming going for this stuff. So you'd have to hire someone. Like I can run around with a camera and do all that stuff and hook it up to YouTube and stream stuff, you know, with a collective group of people. The problem is like we're all busy like doing the shooting thing, right? Yep. So we're handing off cameras to people, and sometimes we can go live, but maybe there's not reception at the range because it's out in the middle of nowhere, so we can't really put a good stream up.
You can though, because like I work in the oil field. I am in the fucking desert. We get some places where I have zero signal, but we put a little fucking box up, hooked up to a fucking generator, and now I've got 5 fucking G. I've got better service than when I'm sitting right here in my own home.
Is that are you using like the Wii Boost?
Yeah, it's like a big ass fucking, it's not a big, but it's a big fucking tower. It's a mobile tower. You can just set up and boom. And you know how much that thing costs to rent a day? $6.
Really?
$6.
Okay, because like I know the entry level Wii Boosts are like, you know, $500 to $1,000, and then they kind of go up from there. But if you could rent equipment like that and put good network, also that can really change the way we do the scoring, because the only I saw all year that did this well, other than Nationals, but they didn't even do it well, was Iowa State. Iowa State had all of their devices on a network. So as soon as you hit approve, you got a push notification on your phone that gave you that bit of data, and so did everyone else that was watching this. So like Matt Hopkins was driving in from out of state. He was talking about this on the Ben Steger podcast. He's driving in from out of state, and he's watching you know, like me and Noah and like Tim Dundry battle it out in carry optics, because he was coming in, and like Lane Grease was coming in. They were kind of wanting to know like what's happening in the carry optics world. They were able to track it like minute by minute and see what was going on. So
and see, that's how it should be.
Dude, I mean, that's exactly the way it should be. And all you got to do is have everybody on the same page, have a network present, and then, you know, if you know, somebody like Brian can bring someone else in to help go around with his streaming equipment and get some of this stuff out there. You just need a handful of guys that are willing to put a little bit more than they already are into this and allocate a little bit of that money. I mean, we're not even talking a lot of money here. Like a couple $1,000 will go a long way in changing the game for just a year and getting some of this out there. So I don't know.
For sure. Someone who has access to a calculator, find out what how many USPSA members do we have?
33,000, right?
33,000. So what's 33,000 times 20? Somebody figure that shit out real fast. I don't have a fucking calculator handy, and if I try to do it, my phone will pause.
20. What's the 20 number come from?
That's your fucking USPSA fee, your yearly fee.
Oh,
it's $20.
I thought it was 40.
So maybe it's 40. Is it $40?
I think it's more. I think it's 40.
Okay, so $40. What's 40? Somebody do 40 times 33,000 real quick. I'm about to start doing it myself with hand math.
50, 60, 60. Wow, those numbers are a little off from each other.
Okay, so
Hammer's good at math.
So $660,000 in membership fees a year. You're telling me there's not a way for them to hire a crew at 4 big matches a year to put it on a fucking pay scale, or at least the 8 areas and nationals?
That's all you need. I'm just saying, like the area matches and that's you're paying. Look at the match fees for those things. I mean, you're talking
they're $300.
Yeah, $200 to $350 for a level 3 match. So that on top of another more than $500,000. And obviously we got to take out, you know, salaries from people and all that good stuff. But people are like, oh my gosh, you know, getting all this equipment out here is expensive and all that stuff. Dude, there's sponsors. They sponsor the whole match. Like there's match sponsors that put up $100,000. Look at the prize table for Area 3. There was like $150,000 worth of stuff on there.
Exactly.
And someone sponsors Targets and someone sponsors all the rest of the stuff to put their banners out there. There's all this money, but what's happening with it?
Exactly. Where's $660,000 going? Is it going to pay for the board for the people that work at USPSA? If that's the case, cool. But then what are you doing with what? How many people were at fucking nationals?
Right.
Like 1,000, 2,000?
Yeah, something like that. It was like
So
350 in each. Or roughly 350 in each division.
yeah, so 3,000. So say there was 2,000 people times $295 fucking dollars.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like, we can figure something out. Like, because all the other shit's paid for. If not, get a media company that wants to sponsor it. Find a
There's
media.
plenty of those out there. There's plenty of those out there that are already like in the shooting world. I mean, a lot of these companies have their own media groups that do production and stuff for them. So I don't know why they wouldn't send like one of their people to represent and a whole pile of video equipment to follow this guy around and put this stuff up live.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. I can't wrap my head around where this money's going and how they're not allocating it. And the only thing that would make sense to me is if the board does not want this to get bigger than it is. Now, there's some pros and cons to it both ways, right? If we're just thinking about this like a company, if you talk about USPSA like a company, obviously with a company, you want to scale it. You have investors, you have interest, you have capital. You want to scale this company and you want to constantly push your profits to earnings ratio, right? But I don't think that's the way USPSA is run. I don't think that these guys are trying to scale it like a business. They're like, oh, look, we got 1,000 more members this year. What do you fucking do? We went from 32,000 to 33,000. But those gains aren't even like considerable in the long run if you're talking about keeping the sport alive or making it better.
Yeah. So that 660,000 was at 20 a year. At 40 a year, it's like 1.3 mil is what Proctor's saying. So 1.3 mil.
So
I
don't understand it.
And here's the thing, like, I won't throw anybody under the bus because I know that's not my job. I don't do it. I'm not involved with USPSA's legitimacy, like, any of the stuff that they do, like, logistically. But I sent an email to a person involved with USPSA. I'm sure you could figure out who it is pretty quick. Pretty much saying, hey, this is how you could do it, laid out in full, 100%. What do you think? And I got the response of pretty much, that's fucking stupid. We've tried it already. People smarter than you have attempted it. It's not going to work. Leave it at that. So is that it? You're telling me out of the 500 fucking streaming services I can find right now on the interwebs that not one of them wants to partner with USPSA for a small fee and then a portion of the rights? Say you put the race to the cup, right? This was my idea, right? Which actually I kind of stole this from John Bartolo, to be fully honest. Part of it came from him too. But like, do a full like eight areas plus nationals, but like total up to 8 areas, like a race to a championship outside of nationals, right?
Yeah.
Where people keep up with it, put it behind a pay window for $15, $20, whatever. Okay, say that streaming company takes $5 of that, $6 of that, right? Maybe they take fucking 10, whatever. You still have it out there. You're telling me out of the, I mean, fuck, dude, cornhole's on ESPN. You're telling me that won't sell?
Right. I think there's the wrong people doing certain roles in USPSA, and I don't want to like push. Like, I don't want to push for, because I'm not a political advocate in the USPSA world necessarily.
Me either.
Good, but like, I think we should have Tyler Martin be president. But outside of that,
woo!
I think we should get some younger talent in the marketing world. Probably the worst example I have ever seen in any organization's marketing is the USPSA's Instagram.
Oh my God, dude. Worst.
It's the most garbage quality video I've ever seen, and the way that they select stuff, I've read their here's what you need to do if you want to be featured on our page thing. It's the dumbest thing ever. It's so stupid. Like, Noah Goodrich and I, we were shooting Carry Optics Nationals. We had like good camera equipment and we took like really good video. Mm-hmm. And whoever was watching the USPSA page to look at tags to repost throughout the match to put footage up, they immediately figured out that we were posting stuff like every day and like good quality video from like a real DSLR. So they constantly reposted all of our stuff, which was great. And then as soon as we stopped, they just went back to the garbage grainy quality of like reposting some kind of not so great video. And I'm like, why wouldn't you just get a dude? I mean, Noah and I have like a $1,000 setup, right, for camera stuff. It's not that
crazy.
Why don't you get someone with that out there and run around in circles between all the stages, you know, find the guys with the fucking colorful jerseys and stuff and go follow them, right? It's not that hard.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of content to post, and since it's a multi-day event, you know your content, you go back to the hotel, you put together some little promotional montages.
Yeah.
It's not that. You even have Techwear as a partner that is putting together this stuff, and you're not featuring that? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, you have Techwear as a partner, you got Hunter's Gold as a partner. Like, you could be doing, here's the thing is, this is where I get frustrated. Like, I'm not saying Mike Foley isn't doing a good job. It's not what I'm saying, right? I'm saying that they are not getting with the times.
No.
They are stuck in 2007.
Yes.
100%. There is so much more shit they could be doing on social media. There's so much more shit they could be doing to grow the brand. There's so much shit they could be doing to get more, bigger, better outside sponsors, bringing them in. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Well,
you know what I mean? At like people like Ben Stager, right? He obviously is a very, well-known, extremely good competitor in, the USPSA world. And he's had some difficulties with the organization here and there, but he's had some really good ideas. He's had some that I don't necessarily like, but he's also had some very good ideas, and no one will hear him. No one on that board will hear his ideas. He's a little bit different than my mentality because he doesn't necessarily want to open up USPSA to allow in more riffraff. He really likes the kind of guys that pay for the USPSA membership. They shoot some locals, they shoot their state section, and then they show up to nationals and they're professional about it. That's the type of people Ben likes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the type of people we all like. But if you want to see growth, you're going to have to open it up to be enticing for some other people. And that might mean that you're going to see some guys running around in cry pants with flashlights on their Glocks.
Yeah, exactly.
But who cares? They're paying their money. The money goes in the pot. Who cares who's paying it in there?
Exactly. Right? Who gives a shit?
I don't understand why we can't get past this mentality and want to grow the brand and grow the organization so that we can promote competitive shooting. I mean, competitive shooting is like America's sport, right?
Yeah.
And we need to be promoting things like trap
since 1776, man.
Right, absolutely. And we're promoting these things like trap and skeet, with the shotgun world, and you have high schoolers that are going out to compete in this stuff, but as soon as you say the word pistol, everybody's like, I don't really want to talk about that. And then people are like, okay, and they leave it at that. Mm-hmm. Why is no one pushing for this stuff? I see, companies on social media that are doing more for the political shooting world than anyone in an organization that literally makes their money by hoping that people stay in tune with the whole gun rights thing. I literally, for example, the T-Rex Arms guys, all they do is push the propaganda of, arming the average American civilian with quality equipment, right? And the civilians can do all this stuff, and they're putting people in the world. Why is that mentality not carried over into the competitive shooting world? Why is that energy just not there? I mean,
dude, and that guy's hated by competitive shooters.
Yeah.
Hated. Why not? If USPSA was smart, or if competitive shooters were smart, they'd be trying to collaborate with that guy.
Yeah.
How many millions of people, and it is millions of people, have gotten into guns or gotten more serious into guns because of that guy's page, his social media outreach.
I mean, look, they reached out and touched 2.5 million people between all their platforms.
Yeah.
And the amount of growth that we've seen in the world of people wearing plate carriers, rifles, things like that. When there's a celebrity shooter, let's say Christian Seiler puts on, I don't know, some new ear pro. Well, he reaches out and touches X amount of people.
Probably 30,000, 40,000.
So then let's say he has a 5% retention, 5% of that 30,000 people buy that product and then get involved in that game that he's using it. That's an even smaller percentage. Look at T-Rex Arms. You got 2.1 million people that they reach out and touch. What's 5% retention on that? I mean, dude, they've just crushed their industry, and no one is taking notes. If I was USPSA, I would look outside of the competition shooting world and look at the overall shooting world and get a pen and a piece of paper and start taking notes.
Exactly. But they won't, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Right.
That's their mentality. Oh, we're constantly gaining 2 to 3% membership every year. It may be more than that. It may be less. I don't know. I just threw that out there. But we're constantly gaining a percentage of membership, right? But so we're doing our jobs, right? We don't, no reason to rock the boat, right? No, bullshit, dude. Shake it up. This is
again, it's playing it like a company. They're running it like it is a I guess real estate company that pays out your average dividends and has like mild investors in it. You need to be running it like a
tech company,
special acquisition. Like, we're hyping up some new tech, and we want the retail millennial investors in here pumping the stock up. That's the way you need to run it. And
they should be running it like fucking Tesla.
Yes, absolutely.
Tesla made $1.2 million in profit last year, and they're a fucking $384 billion business.
Right. And they're gonna hit $1 trillion.
Yeah.
The only thing that's stopping them from being the most powerful company in the world, other than Amazon, is Apple if they put out the iCar. Yeah. And that's like they're a little bit behind. They're gonna have to buy data sharing rights from Tesla to figure out some of their stuff. So either way, they're gonna make money. So you look at that company, they're looking into the future. They're not looking at today.
Yeah, I 100% agree, man. I think that I think there's a window where it could be, and I've thought about it, but here's the thing, man. Like, I work a full-time job, plus I shoot full-time. You know what I mean? I shot 16 majors last year with Corona. It was supposed to be 24. Like, this year I'm hoping to hit 20 if COVID goes away a little bit. Like, I don't have time to go do all that, right? But those dudes at USPSA, they fucking do.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Like, Mike Foley gets paid to fly around and shoot all these matches and just be there and shoot, right? And entertain people and make sure shit goes right. But why can't you fly 1 or 2 fucking media guys out there?
Yeah.
Put those guys on payroll. You don't have to pay them a fucking fortune. Media guys don't make that much money in the business world anyway. They make what, 40 grand, 50 grand?
Yeah.
So find a fucking media guy or 2, fly them to these majors and have them fucking record and put the shit behind a pay window, get some fucking sponsors and make it happen. It's not that difficult, but they're making it like it's like we're trying to reinvent the wheel. There's people doing it every day.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying. I mean, and that's the thing too, is like there's guys like you and I that work full-time jobs. We're trying to shoot full-time. We're trying to partner with companies in the industry. I mean, I only have so much time that I can physically go and do this stuff, and I wouldn't change my current schedule or career path or anything unless there was some incentive behind that. Like you said, media guys, they're not getting paid a ton of money. But if you came to me and you were like, hey, we'll pay you $60,000 a year and get you wherever you want to go for any of these matches. You just gotta bring the camera and do the filming and hook up with these guys, and we'll work interchangeably so that guys can shoot and guys can film. Here's the stuff, go. I'd be like, sounds good. Let's try this out.
Let's go.
Like, I would take a cut. I would take a serious cut on my life in order for that opportunity to grow that sport and be able to continue to do what I love. So
for sure, because
there's a lot of guys out there who do the same thing too with the talent that they have.
Dude, there's guys out there who have an immense talent in marketing and social media and all that shit, who also are shooters, who do that shit full time, that I guarantee if you went to them and said, hey, we're going to pay you $1,500 a match, $2,000 a match. We need you 8 matches a year, 10 matches a year. This is when you're going to be working. Contract them in on a fucking 1099.
Yeah.
I'm sure they would jump on it in a heartbeat. I'm sure they would, and here's the thing is, if you put that behind a pay window, you're making revenue, but dude, it'll get watched. Like, if there's 33,000 members, what happens if fucking 10,000 of them watch, right?
Right.
10,000 times 20, make it $20. That's 200 grand.
Yeah.
Right. Then next year it's going to at least double, right? Because people are going to know it. The more it grows. And if you have guys like who have a lot of outreach, like T-Rex Arms, or you get some bigger dude like Black Rambo, dude, he's got like 840,000 fucking people. Get Black Rambo to boost it out there. Get, there's shooters like get Terran Tactical and all his people involved. Like, there's a way you can get a couple 100,000 people watching this, and now you're making money. Now we can grow the sport.
I think the sponsors that we already have for major events like Hornady, Barry's Bullets, things like that, just to name a few of them, I think that we're doing them a bit of a disservice because we're telling them, hey, you're going to sponsor this match. They provide X amount of money and X amount of products. Great. And then the exposure that they get is however many people show up there that are competing. And most of those people probably already have the shit that they need, the products that they need, so they don't really care about the sponsored products there. So if you really want to highlight, let's say I'm literally just going to, because I was looking at the practice score page of Barry's Bullets is in the front of my mind, right? They make bullets. Everybody needs bullets if they want to pull triggers for fun or whatever. So you have them right there, and 100 people that are showing up for the event are seeing this, and most of them already use their stuff. They're not going to change. They're not going to really see big growth in sales because they're there. But you bring in a media company, all of a sudden Barry's sees a huge spike because the banner behind Christian Saylor when he's running around shooting is now being seen by however many hundreds of thousands of people online. Now they see a spike. I really do think we're doing these sponsors a disservice by not providing them with any ROI when they sponsor this match other than the return customers that are already there.
Dude, absolutely. Like you remember, what was it, like the 90s and the late 80s, through the 90s?
I was born in 96.
Well, you don't remember, obviously, but you've heard the stories where, like, dude, they used to get sponsors like car dealerships and Coors Light. Like, they used to have all these major sponsors, big money, $100,000 paychecks, and it was all fucking televised, right?
Yeah. ESPN
had it. Where'd that go, right? Obviously, the political spectrum kind of changed everything, but who's to say we can't bring that back? We don't have it. The problem is all the dudes running this shit on the board and everything, they still watch fucking TV.
Yeah.
I don't watch TV. Like, I watch Netflix, Amazon, and fucking YouTube.
Yeah. And you can
and
watch
Twitch.
live stuff on YouTube. You want to watch like sports and things like that, events like that, they have this feature on there. You can go live and put this stuff on there. It's just the problem is when the culture changed, the boomers that were running the organization rolled over and played dead.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And like when I want to watch the NFL, I go to the NFL app.
Happen with it.
Yeah. Like, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
So like when I want to watch football or sports or anything, I go to an app. You know what I mean? Like, there's a way to do it. There's so many ways to do it.
Yeah.
They just haven't.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen with it, man, but obviously lots of people have some good ideas. I just like to see the right people put their heads together and make some of this stuff happen. Otherwise, it's going to be tough to improve the sport or grow it in the future. But
I think it's going to take a couple people standing up and saying, I'm running for this position and this is my stance on it. I want to shake shit up.
Yeah.
And then them just
you got ideas. If you got ideas, put a box up in the town square and stand on it and let me hear it. I'm all about it. It's just
for real.
We're not doing that anymore. We got to get back to doing that.
Yeah, we do. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if something doesn't shake up pretty fast that in 5 years USPSA is losing membership due to it.
Yeah, I would agree. I would definitely agree. So for 2021, you're shooting open again, right?
Yeah, buddy.
You shooting any other divisions or just open?
I am going to shoot some other divisions. I'm shooting limited. I'm going to shoot. Yeah, I have the new Artemis coming. A couple of them. I'm going to play in the limited and limited 10. Little bit. I can't shoot limited nationals because it's on top of open again, which is so stupid. But I'm going to shoot limited 10 nats just to do it. And then I might play in a few limited here and there. And then I have a carry optics Glock I've kind of wanted to play with here and there. I may shoot a small major carry optics with the carry optics Glock I have. Who knows?
Shoot A3 with carry optics. It's the last year. What's his name? It's his last year of setting that match up. So I hear it's just going to be an absolute shit show.
I heard he was going to do the 13 or 14 most hated stages. Which, if he does that, I'm in.
Dude, it's going to be an absolute shit show. It's just, I mean, last year was nuts. That was my first year, or 2020 this year. I've never seen a match like that.
That was tame.
Really?
That was tame, dog. I hit it in 2019. And it was wild, bro. Like, I'll send you some of the footage. But dude, like, you're shooting from a motorcycle that's suspended in all four corners, so it's bouncy. You're on a motorcycle and you're like shooting off the motorcycle and doing a reload, and like you're literally on a. And then there's one where you're in a car and it has the steering wheels connected to two big no-shoot walls. Yeah. And then what other ones? There was some crazy shit. Like, he's had some nutty stages.
Cool. Well, what I want to see, because there was a few things I liked about A3, and then there was all the other things I didn't like. What I want to see is in 2020, stage 1 and 2 were really cool.
Yeah.
I liked those stages because you had bays that could facilitate like 50, 55-yard stages, which was kind of cool to me. I thought that was awesome because, like, at the end of the day, like, I know it's a shooting sport, but I think you should also, like, have to do some moving, right? And, you know, it's an athletic sport. So those stages really, you know, for me are really cool because I like to do that type of stuff. But the stages where it's like stand on a plank and hold the freaking rope and shoot, and, like, dude, like, what is this, Pirates of the Caribbean? Like, come on, bro. This is dumb.
Yeah, they have some really good stages, and they did the same thing in 2019. They had some really good ones, and they had some really terrible ones.
Yeah.
But apparently, I think old Matt Hopkins is taking over Area 3 after that, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
I have heard said rumor, and I'm excited to see what becomes of that because I think that could be a good alignment of values.
I think Matt Hopkins is going to put on a hell of a fucking area match. I can tell you that.
I would be willing to vote for Matt Hopkins for an even higher role if we didn't already have the perfect candidate for USPSA president, which is Tyler Martin. I think we got to get Tyler in there.
Tyler Martin for president. Is he serious? Like, is he actually going to run?
Yes. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
So he's legitimately going to run. Tyler Martin.
Yeah.
I'm 100% voting for him.
I'll run his ad campaign for him. I'm down, dude. This is exactly the switch up that we need. Remember when the country went from President Obama to President Trump? Right?
Yep.
Tyler Martin
is our Trump.
Fits that role right there. You know what I'm saying?
Like, we've had
that everything's great, but there's some things that just needed to get shaken up a little bit, and then they were pretty cool.
Yeah, like, I don't want to compare. I mean, it's a good comparison though, because like, we have our quiet, you know, well-spoken, doesn't rock the boat president right now. We need that asshole to just jump in and shake stuff up and get stuff done right now.
Yeah.
Tyler Martin might be our Trump.
It's like a relationship, right? You get out of a long-term committed relationship.
Got to get a crazy bitch in there.
Now you just got to go for something crazy.
Yep.
So you find polar opposite.
Yeah, polar opposite. Absolutely. I did not know that Tyler Martin was going to run for USPSA president. That makes me so happy. He is so funny.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see if that could get some traction. I'm telling you, the right ad campaign, you could get enough people lined up.
Yeah, I think like I said, I don't think he's doing a bad job, but I think enough people hate Mike Foley.
Right.
And enough people want to see something different that if you just had somebody who could push the campaign out there enough, I think they could take it.
Right. Absolutely. And again, he's done great things for the sport, no doubt. I applaud him for some of the great things that he's done.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes you gotta have a change up, you know?
Yep.
So I'm excited for that. Well, hey, I got to run here. But,
yeah, I do too.
It's great talking to you. I'm looking forward to the 2021 season. I'll probably see you at Area 3, right?
Yeah, you'll definitely see me at Area 3. We need to get together and find out what other matches you're shooting because I'm trying to get my schedule together. But we need to do a planned live. We need to do another live, but planned. Thank you for jumping in and saving it.
Happy to.
Yeah, he had to go. He actually is at the hospital with his baby right now. So I guess the baby got pretty sick. But thank you for jumping in and saving it, dude.
Yeah.
Coming in clutch.
All right, buddy. Well, we'll talk to you later.
All right, brother. Be safe.
You too.
Big shout out to Jim Krantz for jumping in and saving the podcast. So, not planned, but we had a good live. It's not a podcast yet. Maybe turn into one later on down the road. But thank you to Jim for jumping in and kind of saving this live. For everyone wondering, James Tate's baby got sick while he was on the live. wouldn't stop throwing up. So he had to take his baby to the hospital, but pray that they're doing okay. But thank y'all for stopping by, and I will see you guys at the range.